Alrighty, folks, we are back. Um, this is, I want to say, episode 6 for you guys, but for me, it is the same evening as episode 5 for the previous episode. Um, I. Lucky is happy. Excellent. I finished up the last episode just making sure that our two dinosaurs were happy. We managed to get Layla as a helper and watering our crops, so I'm actually, well, hold on, let's see. Yeah, no, I'm going to use Layla to water these crops before I harvest them. Um, so yeah, took a little bit of a break from earlier. So for you guys, it might be a week in the difference in terms of uploads. I might upload episode 5 and 6 in the same week. We'll see. We'll play it by ear. Um, but for me, it's just a couple hours later. Had some dinner. Watched a quick YouTube video on the Six Nations. There's a guy I'm just going to give a shout out to, Squidge Rugby. He does some really good kind of match analyses, I guess, is the plural of analysis. He does some good analysis of kind of every game, at least at the international level, and every Six Nations. Um, he does kind of a lead up to the Six Nations and then kind of a weekly review of each game, or at least the weekend. So yeah, while I was having my dinner, I watched his video on the France rugby, or France Wales rugby match. Um, and for those who aren't, following the rugby or watching the Six Nations, France are doing quite well at the moment. Um, and their opponents, Wales, traditionally were quite a good team when I was growing up. Wales were always a team to be feared, especially when you played them in Wales. And unfortunately, the last couple of years they just haven't been at the races, which is a shame. I don't actually have any kind of relations or like ties to Wales myself, but I love Wales as a country, and I think I've met a few Welsh people in my life, and when I was a kid I was amazed at how fluently they were able to speak Welsh. I'm Scottish. Um, I've spent a lot of my life in Ireland. Um, in Ireland we have Gaeilge, and a lot of people speak it, and we have areas within Ireland called Gaeltachts, where people speak Irish essentially as their first language, which is lovely. It's fantastic. Um, in Scotland, it's very, very rare. Scots Gael, I think maybe 1.4% or something like that of people. Um, very, very sad. It's a shame to see. Hopefully, maybe in the next few years, we'll see Scots Gael kind of grow. But yeah, for now, that's not the case. So, yeah, just as a kid, I was amazed. I was friends with two Welsh boys and obviously their parents, and I was amazed at how well they could speak Welsh. So, yeah, I guess just very sad to see Wales rugby kind of falling off the horse a little bit. Oh, I keep hitting escape by accident. So yeah, if you haven't guessed, obviously from what I've just said, France won. I don't think there's any spoilers there at this stage, and they won quite well. So yeah, I suppose a little shout out to Squidge Rugby. While I was eating my dinner, he's very kind of just chill and relaxed, and I think he explains the rugby in such a way that beginners can pick it up very well. He kind of caters for all audiences, and yeah, I appreciate his channel. After dinner, played some Counter-Strike with my childhood friend. Um, I'm absolutely shocking at Counter-Strike. It's embarrassing. You know, the guys are very nice. The guys we play with are very nice. You know, they're like, oh, you know, you only have like, 50 hours or whatever in the game, but I never played PC growing up, or keyboard and mouse, I should say. Um, so I'm still, although I use a keyboard and a mouse kind of every day in work, my reaction times on a keyboard and mouse are not great. My hand isn't kind of trained for like fast reaction times, like in Counter Strike. So I get destroyed every time. But look, I play it more just to kind of hang out with the guys. My childhood friend, his name is Kalon. He's played it since he was 15, maybe even younger, and he's amazing at it. So I try keep up, but yeah, it's a struggle for me. So just finished up. We played Portal as well, actually. I just remembered. So before we played the last couple of weeks, we've been playing Portal 2, and just before we went on to Counter Strike, we finished the Portal 2 co-op campaign. So that's nice. I've played Portal before, obviously, but yeah, just a nice little puzzle game to do. And I was gonna go for a shower. I have to go on site tomorrow for work, as I mentioned in the previous episode, and I said, you know what, it's still kinda early. I can do another quick video. It mightn't be as long as the usual ones, but I said while Orla's away, while I have kind of a free evening, I'll record another episode for the channel. So I think my goal of one video a week is it's going quite well. I think this is probably episode 14 in total on the channel. So yeah, steady as she goes, really. So no, I'm going to the wrong person. We have to talk to Agami. Chat. I think I've got all of them. I know that this character goes by Granny as well, but she's not a blood relation to me. You can't tell me what to do, big man. You might be a village elder, but yeah, just I'm not running on anyone's time but my own, Let's see, Owynn's Lake. That looks interesting. So that's home. That breaks off into the town. Oh, sure, look at him there. Sorry, apologies. I'm pointing straight at him. Dead ahead. So, before I go any further, I'm going to talk about Eragon and the Inheritance series and the kind of newly released. Actually, is it fair to say that it's newly released anymore? I think it may have come out in 2023, actually, now that I think about it. Marta is the name of the book I'm referring to there, so we'll talk to Owynn first. Yeah, in fairness, I kinda sorry, uh, I kinda pendulum with Owynn. Um, Sometimes I agree with him, and then sometimes I'm like, kind of roll up your sleeves and do it yourself. I think in my line of work, Owynn is absolutely right there. If you don't have proper traceability, your testing is essentially nullified. Um, if everything goes to plan, if everything works out, and all your results are as expected, traceability maybe not so much an issue. But if you're trying to compare samples, like for like, comparing apples to apples, you have to be able to distinguish which sample is from which population, which group. Um, and then if there's an anomaly, and this has actually happened in my line of work, not necessarily my fault, but I have seen it happen, where someone has done a test, something has gone wrong, and the question comes up: how did it go wrong? Why did it go wrong? What happened? What makes this sample, different from the rest? All the other samples have passed, but this sample has failed. Why? You know, the, all the other samples are blue, and this one's red, so that's why it failed. If you can't say that for certain, your test is completely nullified. So I agree with Owynn there. Um, but then in a previous episode, he was saying he's terrible at timekeeping or something like that, or like he takes loads of notes, but they're all over the place. Um, you know, you can't have it both ways. On you can't be giving out about Mary and then you yourself you're late for everything. But look, we all have our flaws as well, don't we? Um, my flaw is starting to talk about a topic and then getting distracted. Maybe flaw, too strong a word, but I'm definitely guilty of starting a story and then getting distracted by something else. So the Inheritance series, and the book I'm reading at the moment is Murta, which is a kind of sequel to the original 4 books. Um, so Orla loves dragons. Um, that's the starting point for the story. Is Orla, even if we take a step further back again, Orla loves reading. From a young age, Orla has been a bookworm, and that's reflected in her choice of career. Originally, she did a degree in English, just for the love of English and literature, and she also did, as part of that degree, she did drama as well. So Orla's a very kind of creative person, and she's always been involved in, writing in one way or another, be it reading a story or acting out a story for an audience. And she loves fantasy. Um, Harry Potter, one of the biggest series ever, in terms of fantasy and just magic. Orla loves Harry Potter, but she's definitely kind of grown away from that. And when she was younger, she read Eragon, all kind of by chance. I think her mum knew she loved books, obviously. Um, Went to a random shop, it could have been Lidl, seen a book with a dragon on its cover, and went, you know, that's a good gift for Orla. Potatoes, spring onions, so... Well, I mean, can I just do one? Yeah, okay. That's something I must actually figure out, is how to split stacks, because it caught us in the last episode. Most likely result gloop. So if I add more potatoes, is it because the ingredients aren't good? Is that what the problem is here? There's the 2 stars and then the 0 stars. So maybe if I bulk up on the onions. Don't want it to go pure acidic either, though, add... I'm sorry, folks. Right. Let's start again. So, let's experiment. 10. Confirm. 15 spring onions. And 20 carrots. Okay, well at least we have enough. Well, of course we have enough because we needed enough to do the quest. Classic stew. Cool. Don't forget to stop cooking before it burns. Alright. I understand what this is saying to me. Alright. Nice and easy. You've mastered that recipe. You can cook it again anytime or keep experimenting to find new recipes. Yeah, well if I have enough rocks, I do. We're going to be stuck for inventory space, that was the only thing. So let's go talk to Mary. Give her Owen's journal. Without getting distracted on the way. And then we might cook some more soup. Because I seen a recipe for potato soup there, and yeah, there might be a quest for potato soup or something down the line, so let's quickly head over. So yeah, Orla kind of randomly came across Eragon, which is the first in a series of 4 books about a character called Eragon. And it's the story's largely about dragons and dragon riders and magic and elves and dwarves and, you know, the kind of evil emperor. I think it does have elements of Star Wars about it, where you have this kind of young, kind of isolated character who is Eragon, and he's kind of introduced to this kind of mysterious, kind of mystical figure, guardian if you like, and from that interaction comes a quest, I guess. You know, it's a fairly old series, but I'm also reluctant to kind of spoil it. Can you believe all the different species of dinosaurs? Yeah. Cool. Avery. Okay. So, I wonder, do we have to return to Agami now that we've actually done the soup? Speak to the townsfolk. Yeah, bring the stew. Yeah, there you go. What's that one? Something about smelly. Return to Owynn, bring the stew to Granny. Okay, we'll go into town first. Get that sorted. Yeah, so it's a four book series, and Orla asked me to read it. It was one of her favorite series growing up, and yeah, I really like it. It's got this kind of wholesome feel to it, that I may not have kind of picked up on as I was reading it for the first time. But now looking back on it, yeah, I have enough space. Confirm. Let's try... These are juicy, so if we do get a Styra Casaurus, this may be their favourite food, because it's the kind of blue symbols there above cranberry. 50 cranberries is a portion. Wonder if that's relevant. Yeah, so like, as I was reading it for the first time, I didn't realize how much I kind of loved the world, and in particular how the magic in this world works. Just see what Agami has to say. There's no harm in trying new things. You're absolutely right. That's cool. So on budding days, we give people some food. How are we looking here? We've tons of carrots, few potatoes, and yeah, I think we should now buy. So expensive. Spend money to make money. Oh, it's so much money. I can only get 6 carrots now after all that. Well, I suppose I can sell what I have. Your pockets are looking pretty full. Yeah, sure, okay. Just out of interest, I can trade stuff with you. I wonder... No, I can't. Okay, I was gonna trade with a Gammy here, but it seems like I can only sell to Carl. That's fine. Makes it easy. I don't have to worry about, you know, who's giving me the best price. So... X. I was just about to say, is there a button? Okay, confirm. Even just for decoration, I'd be interested in getting this, because I love heather. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're buying some seeds. So we'll just go for 5 for now. Confirm. Oh. Okay, 10 isn't bad, in fairness. Our styro will be a herbivore, so we might need to get a little bit more food. And a wooden gate, sure enough, as well. Oh. Just see, is it cheaper to make the fences? So, no, it's not, because it's still 10 here. I'm assuming this is also a different fence post, you know? Oh, this is interesting. Large trough. I wonder if this is just for capacity, or do we need it for larger dinosaurs? You know, can I give a T-Rex this? I'll just need to top it up more often. Or do I need to get the large trough for, you know, a large dinosaur? Small pond. Just wanna, while we're here, you know, rather than coming back and over. So these symbols here, I learned through the wiki that certain dinosaurs need to have pens that have certain biomes. So I'm guessing forest. If I get a Stegosaurus from the forest and bring it back to my farm, it's going to want to have a forest biome pen, which is what these items actually influence. So I'm assuming like this is the valley, maybe. So look, we'll learn that as we go. I'm just thinking ahead for the styro. Once we do these few quests here and there and get a bit more money, I do want to expand the farm, get more dinosaurs going as well, you know. I'm intrigued to see what the compies are used for, if anything. So yeah, I was just saying, one of my favorite pieces about the world of Eragon is the way that magic works. You know, there's different kind of takes on magic and special powers. You know, like in Lord of the Rings, the magic is very subtle. You know, Gandalf has his staff, obviously, which is kind of a conduit for his magic, but his magic comes from, and I'm talking the movies now. It's been a long time since I've, you know, read The Hobbit or anything like that, but it's more ethereal, more kind of angelical magic, if that's a way of saying it. You know, his magic kind of comes from the heavens, and it's more like fate, you know, rather than like a spell being cast. You know, like when Gandalf faces the Balrog, you know, he says, "You shall not pass." It's like, in my opinion, that's him actually casting a spell. It's not him defying the Balrog, being like, "Oh, you can't come in here." It's him actually casting a spell that prevents the Balrog from passing. But I'm kind of getting off topic. You know, in Harry Potter, they've wands and they cast the spell. You know, there's kind of a given word. You know, Wingardium Leviosa lifts something. There's a way to say that where it lifts an object. In the world of Eragon, it's all done through what's the ancient language, which is like essentially ancient Elvish. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. The farm order has gone to the wayside, but that's okay for now. We're just trying to get as many crops as possible. So they don't have wands or anything per se. They speak the words in a literal sense. Because if they don't explicitly say what they want to happen, the spell can kind of go sideways. You have to be very kind of literal with the spells, or with the magic, I should say. So there's no unexpected outcomes. And the reason why in Eragon that's so important is because of how the magic drains energy. So, you know, in Harry Potter, they can kind of just keep casting spells forever. You know, if they're kind of having a duel, it's kind of whoever's the stronger spellcaster will win. But it's not because they run out of energy per se. The way it works in Eragon is like, if you think of it like a battery, you know, if you have a torch on for 20 hours, your battery is going to drain, and eventually your phone will turn off. That's how the magic works in Eragon, where if you cast a spell and you cast it incorrectly, it will drain your life force. So it's like, in a way, it's kind of based in physics, which I think is very cool, kind of like thermodynamics, which I'm not going to get into. One, it's been a long time since I studied thermodynamics. When I did study it, I wasn't that good at it. And if I start talking about thermodynamics, I'm just going to get distracted and off topic. But if you think of it like, if I wanted to empty this pond up here, I must give Layla some love actually, and Lucky as well. If I wanted to drain this pond of water, and I use the ancient language to do so, it would use the same amount of energy as me using a bucket to drain this pond. It's just faster, you know. So rather than me going with a bucket and actually paling the water out of this pond, the magic does it kind of instantly, but the energy it would demand on my body is the same. So if that's 4 days worth of work, you know, I eat, sleep, work, you know, for 4 days. If I cast that spell, it'll do it instantly, and I don't have enough energy, so then it'll essentially drain me, and I'll die. So hopefully that's making sense. Maybe I've gone into too much detail, but I just love the way the magic works. I think it's a really unique way to kind of write in. It basically makes the magical beings of this world not overpowered. Because you have non-magical beings, you have humans, you have dwarves who are non-magical. In this world, the elves, I think, all have at least some magic. But by doing it this way, you know, you can't have a dragon rider or a kind of wizard just going around and taking out like 3/4 of an army with one spell. It's just not you know, kind of real. As funny as that is to say about a, you know, a fantasy series. Um, and what's remarkable about this is I believe the author was only 16 when he wrote the first book. I think his parents own a publishing company, or they're involved in publishing of some kind. And yeah, you know, like, it's just fantastic, amazing, to write such a detailed, kind of interesting world. At 16, you know, very impressive stuff. And I hadn't read Eragon in a few years. I think I finished it in like, maybe started reading it in 2019, finished the last book in 2022, maybe. But Marta was released. So Marta is a character, kind of, I'm reluctant to say a side character, but a kind of fairly important side character to the series, and he's now got his own book, which is pretty cool. I keep forgetting that Lucky doesn't have a friend song. But what we will do is give her a love. Make sure my dinos are happy, and that way they'll keep working for me. I wonder if upgrading this will increase Layla's stamina. Or does she just have less stamina because, you know, different species? Something for us to find out. But so Marta's the latest in the series. There was kind of a short novel called The Fork, the Witch and the Worm, I think it was called. I love that. And it's because it lets me revisit these worlds. You know, by the end of the fourth book, I was kind of reluctant to let the world go. And then I got, you know, The Fork, the Witch and the Worm, and I was like, oh, this is great. You know, I get to see Eragon again. I get to see all these characters that I know in this world that I love. And then, as I said, Marta was released. So it's like 600 pages, maybe, I think. I'm 200 pages in, and I just love being back in that universe. And I talked quite a lot there about the magic, and I don't think I did the best job on it. You know, if you agree with that statement, go and read the books. You know, it is quite an old series by now, but you know, you might be able to buy the set for cheap enough and have a read of it yourself and see what you think. And you might be able to understand what I was explaining with the magic. But the other thing that I love about it is a dragon and a dragon rider have a very special bond where they're kind of connected through a mental bridge, where the other can see the thoughts and memories of the other, and they can feel each other's emotions. So even though they might be in two different, you know, geographical locations, if the bond is strong enough, or if they're close enough to each other, if one is feeling angry, the other can sense that. Which it's again, I don't think I'm doing it justice. It's a really, the way it's written is really cool. And I think it's a great way of kind of showing empathy in a book. You know, rather than writing, you know, John feels sorry for Sarah, doing it through this kind of medium is much cooler. And you get kind of like really kind of a good sense of the characters and stuff like that as well. So yeah, as you can see or hear, you know, book reviews aren't my strong suit, I think. But I've been meaning to talk about it for ages. So that's what I'm doing. And one of the main reasons I wanted to talk about it is I want more people to read it. You know, that's one reason. But I believe um, Disney are making a TV show. So there is actually an Eragon movie through word of mouth. It's terrible. I haven't actually seen it. Orla will not let me watch this movie. She's like, it's so bad. It's so inaccurate to the books. I don't want you to watch it because it will ruin the world for you. She's like, okay, I won't watch it. That's fine. I'll just stick to the books. But that movie was made by Disney. It's on Disney Plus. It's been slated kind of across the board by everyone. Yeah, I knew I was on the right way. We're going to see Owynn. But there's kind of been a resurgence. You know, the author has kind of come back to the world. He's started writing spin-offs and it's getting more attention, and Disney have a new series planned for it. So we'll talk to Owynn very quickly, and then I'll keep going about the TV show. Soft and sticky, great. And we have loads of no, we've loads of soft. So what do we get? Sticky and firm? Yeah. So I think it's potatoes that like the firm soil. So that's actually very good to know. That'll help us. And the purpose of the fertilizer in this game is it just gives you more crop. It gives you a higher yield. I know in Stardew Valley there's kind of different fertilizers. Like you have your water retaining fertilizer. You have speed grow. You know, so instead of 4 days it takes 2. But my understanding in this game is the fertilizer just gives you more yield. So I'm not too pushed about that for now, I guess. The whole aim here, I suppose, is to make as much money as possible early on. So maybe we should be using fertilizer. But I'm not too pushed at the moment to get into the kind of soil techniques in this game. At least for now. Oh yeah, the picnic. No. Cool. Okay. Bring something for the bounty. You might have given me a bit more than that, Mary. But anyway. No. Okay, so what, we've 4 days. We must bear that in mind. Hopefully it gives us a notification, a little pop-up. You know, the start of each day in the top left corner, it kind of says weather and stuff. So I'm assuming we'll get a prompt to not miss that. You know, rare dinosaurs sound exciting, but I'm also terrible at taming them. So even if we see something super cool, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it. Just looking at this, actually, I presumed this was a wall, but it's actually not. It's an expansion to the farm. So we're actually going to have tons of room by the end of this. You know, we've all that fiber as well. In terms of resources, that's tons of fiber. How are we looking in here? Tons of rock. You know, I think the styras can get these small ones here. These big ones, maybe an ankylosaurus or something like that. And then over here it's all timber. So that's cool. Like, I appreciate that. You know, that with expansion you get more resources because you need more resources too. You know, so the game kind of helps you that way. Yeah. So the Eragon TV show, I have a feeling, I think I read somewhere it's meant to be coming out this year, and if not 2026. but I haven't heard anything like concrete, so I don't know. But if IMDb is to be believed, the cast is ridiculous. It's like Disney are coming with a vengeance. They're like, oh, you know, that terrible movie that we made years ago and you all made fun of. Yeah, we're coming back like tenfold. And I don't know if it's just kind of like, if it's just like fan casting. So look, the stamina at the top there has gone up because Lucky's level 10. So maybe that's... What level is Layla? Level 2. So she's only 70 stamina. So there you go, that's it. So maybe the Dreamstones do have something to do with experience. Maybe it's more happiness. I don't know. But it seems stamina is tied to levels. I'm guessing every time I use Layla to water the crops, it adds to her XP, but something for us to keep an eye on and monitor. We're coming up on 40 minutes, so I want to wrap it up soon. I don't want to pause mid-discussion on the TV show, but I'm also conscious... Speak to the townsfolk. Okay, that's what we'll do. I didn't want to just be, you know, standing in the field talking. So while I'm talking about the show, we will go to town and talk to some of the characters. Yeah. So looking at IMDb, I don't know if people have just kind of put a wish list together, like, oh, we know there's a show coming and this is the cast we would like, or if this is actually the confirmed cast, because it genuinely seems too good to be true. So I actually don't know his name, but House of the Dragon, one of Rhaenyra's sons, he is gonna be Eragon, which I think is a very good casting. Very, very good casting. Oh no way, did we actually just find it? Well, that was easy. Alright, well, that's that then. Perfect. I was expecting that we were gonna have to go around kind of on a kind of treasure hunt there, but that's perfect. Yeah, and one of the... Back to the show, you know, just so I can finish up this episode. One of the most exciting castings, if it's to be believed, is the main dragon. So Eragon is a dragon rider. His dragon is called Saphira, and in this universe, the dragons can talk. As I said, kind of through the mental bond between, you know, themselves and the rider, but also kind of just in general. Now, I think it is telepathic. I think the dragon speaks, kind of mentally connects with any individual and speaks through the bond rather than just, you know, speaking aloud. But nonetheless, they have cast Gwendolyn Christie, who plays Brienne of Tarth in Game of Thrones, and she played Captain Phasma in the Star Wars sequels. Her voice for Saphira is such a good choice. I'm so excited to see that, to hear that. Yeah, just what a great cast. And like, there's other names in there. Like, this is why I don't think it's real. It's just like insane. You know, you've got Javier Bardem. I can't remember who he's cast as, but I just have a list here of people who are coming up as like minor characters, like small kind of characters who might be in just one book or just a couple of chapters in one book. You've got Javier Bardem, you've got David Tennant, you've got Graham McTavish, who is in Outlander, and if you haven't seen that, he plays Dijkstra in The Witcher. The Witcher TV show. of course, it's a cutscene. No. Okay, we'll watch this quickly, and then I'll just finish on the show because yeah, exciting stuff. I don't even want to try pronounce that word. Don't come crying to me, Owynn. I'm not in the mood for it. Oh no, Lucky's low on stamina. We're gonna have to chase this raptor. Man, I'm not gonna say anything, right? Oh, it's Quill, it's Quill. That was the whole point. Yeah, my to-do list. Find Quill off my to-do list. This is Mr. Delegate here. You know, he's I need to find my Quill. Like, I found it for you. You know, and now he's lost his research. He's given out stink about it, and of course I'm the one who's gonna have to go get it for him. Like, his sleeves are rolled up here, but you know, figure like, you know, metaphorically roll up your sleeves on and do some dirty work. You know, theory can only take you so far. Oh, strawberries probably, right? Tell me. See, bell peppers would be good for Layla, but strawberries are rarer at the moment, so I'm gonna go for straws. A1. And I do have enough space for them. Great. The runaway raptor. Yeah, okay. Lucky's low on energy. Oh, I'm not gonna have enough space. I was gonna pick up that dreamstone down there, but I don't have enough space. Like, waste not, want not. I don't wanna... Do you know what? The farm seems to regenerate rubble, so I think we can afford to get rid of these 4 and get this dreamstone. Who knows, maybe we can come back and get it. Yeah, so, huge cast, and tucked away in amongst all this, somewhere, is Mark Hamill. You know, like, just at the bottom of the list, if you go on to IMDb, if you look up the Eragon TV show, not the movie, and you just scroll and keep scrolling and keep scrolling, you'll come across like one of the biggest names ever. Like, you know, he's a huge voice actor. He's obviously world famous for having done Star Wars. And he's just this kind of small, random character in this new Disney show. I think Henry Cavill is there too, you know, like one of the biggest actors at the moment. And he's like, I can't remember who exactly, but you know, it's like a farmer at the very start of the book that you never hear from again. Or maybe he's the blacksmith or something like that, you know? Like, this is Henry Cavill we're talking about, you know? So I don't know. I don't know if this is actually the cast, but if you can't tell from my voice, I'm very excited. With such a stacked cast and having gone wrong before with the movie. I just have a feeling they're gonna do it right this time. And I'm pretty sure the author, I may mispronounce his name, but it's Christopher Paolini, I think is how you pronounce it. I think he's actually involved in the production of this show as well. So you would hope that they've learned their lesson. They will follow the source material with the director by their side and get this right. And I spoke about Pacific Rim in the last episode. I think that had so much potential. I thought it was a great movie. You know, if I'd gone to the cinema with my brother and sister, they would have loved it. But it had so much potential to be a kind of proper, fleshed out TV series. It's very hard to cram character development and emotion and stuff into a film, especially an action film. You know, like, you know, the audience wants, you know, in Pacific Rim I'm talking about, the audience wants big robots fighting, you know. So in a 2-hour film, you mightn't have a lot of room for character development or big bits of dialogue, because, you know, let's get to the robots. That's what I came here to see. But in a TV show, you know, hour-long episodes, 40-minute episodes, there's so much more room there. And the same goes for Eragon. There's so much, you know, if one season is a book, maybe even 2 seasons per book would be fantastic. You already have a spin-off novel. In that novel there's 3 different stories. And then you have Murta as well, which I'm currently reading. So there's already so much there for Disney to leverage and build upon if they just listen to Christopher. And if Henry Cavill is part of the cast, I'm sure he'll have something to say about source material. You know, he was very, very passionate about The Witcher. It's one of the reasons why he left, is because, you know, they were taking it in a direction he didn't kind of agree with, because it wasn't true to the books. So yeah, exciting times. I've gone way over. I said this would be a quick episode. It's coming up on an hour. I'm gonna have to try cut back a little bit, but yeah, I'll leave it here. Buy the books, even if you just buy the first one. Have a read. You might even get an audiobook on YouTube for free. And I think this TV show, if it's coming out this year or next year, it's gonna be big. I think there's been a resurgence in fantasy the last couple of years. I want to talk about A Court of Thorns and Roses maybe in the next episode, and in that series by Sarah J. Maas. Definitely seems to be a kind of resurgence in fae and magic and fantasy, and yeah, I think this Eragon TV show might be one to watch. So look, I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.